can I say before I answer this question,
Right.
you can tell me, but I've not heard these questions before coming online, have I? Yeah.
No, you haven't. You haven't. No, we
Off the
haven't
cuff,
chatted on this ever.
So let me give you an example. Yeah, this
Fair.
isn't investment advice or anything like that. Yeah?
Absolutely not. As a disclaimer, yes, it's not investment advice, but
But I'm going to tell you what I've invested in, right? And
Please.
people are going to go, "Oh, it's risky." But I've done my research, and it is a risky bet.
Right.
But I'm kind of an all-in kind of guy, either shit or bust.
Absolutely.
So like I've done some research, and the first topic I thought, what's rolling out worldwide at this moment in time? And I was like, 5G, right?
5G, yeah, that's fair.
What's happening geopolitically worldwide? 5G. So let's kind of work out who's going to win that 5G race, yeah?
Right.
Huawei's being banned worldwide from everywhere, yeah? Who's the other players in the market? Done some research, found out it was Ericsson and Nokia, yeah?
Right.
And then I found out Nokia were working on a technology that converted all their 4G masts from an infrastructure point of view to 5G masts.
Wow. Okay.
So they don't have to install all these masts. They can convert their current infrastructure
to make it compatible, essentially.
Exactly.
Right.
So from my point of view, I was looking from an infrastructure point of view, not from who was winning the race at this moment in time, but who had the infrastructure already in place.
Yep, like an ExxonMobil oil kind of play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I looked at Nokia and I looked at Ericsson. There could be a potential merger between the two, or there could be a potential investment from America to battle against Huawei in the two Finnish companies.
Right.
So yeah, I hedged in Ericsson and Nokia because they've got I think 70% of them. I think it was 60% of the market between them.
Right. Yeah,
before Huawei started getting banned from places.
Yeah, it's rather also timely that the banning is actually happening now because, well, if you think geopolitically as well, you have the whole China-America trade war, so to speak.
And I think that's part and parcel of it as well.
Right.
And to give you an indication of the profits that I've seen since I've invested, probably since I invested, I've probably got 50% profit on both investments.
That's pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty healthy.
So, but I'm nowhere near cashing those points out. Neither investment are paying dividends currently.
Right.
But they will do, and because the Nokia balance sheet at the moment isn't looking great, which is leaving them open to an aggressive takeover or a merger or some kind of investment at some point. So I've got to kind of wait for that first. So wait for the news and then sell the news. As
exactly. Sell the news. Yeah, I mean, emotionally, it's difficult to stick to your guns when it comes to these kinds of principles because, well, as an emotional being, if something feels a certain way and it feels right, you tend to go with it. Or if it doesn't feel right, then you tend to jump out. But it's important to stick to the main principles of investing, in my opinion, in that you just mentioned: sell the news and buy the FUD or the uncertainty and doubt in any market, really, depending on if that works with your particular ethos on trading or investing.
100%. When there's blood in the market, that's when you should be buying.
Absolutely. And right now, would you consider us actually? Let me stick to one. Let me close off this element of 5G you just mentioned here. You mentioned something about how. What I'm gathering is infrastructural plays are most likely the better approach. Sony Ericsson and Nokia haven't necessarily been behemoths when it comes to cell phone manufacturing as they were back in the day. Let's just say that the brick playing Snake on your phone kind of thing, those Nokia 330, whatever, like all those lovely brick phones that we used to have at one point in time. That's not the play that they're working at right now. I'm assuming they're working more on infrastructure and telecommunications, um, um,
Yes,
as a main
yeah,
driver
yeah.
to their business.
Not Nokia are going to make a move in the cell phone market again,
Oh, okay.
where they're going to be supplying phones to the next James Bond movie,
Right.
and they've actually got the old Apple designer on board for their new Nokia handsets as well.
Good for them.
Yeah, so good for them. They're making a play in that market, but that's not where they're going to make their money. Their money is all in infrastructure, and I'm an infrastructure kind of guy, and that's why I like my investment in XRP and Ripple.
I was going to say, I think we're all waiting for that IPO announcement, if that is to come this year at all. But
it will come. Will it come this year? I think it'll be delayed.
I think it'll be delayed too. There's way too much going on right now.
Yeah, but then I was having a conversation, right? What are they going to do with the IPO money? Because it's not like they really need money.
I was going to say, I don't think they will.
So what will they do? Will they buy Jed McCaleb out?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea, because he is majority, right? He's majority holder right now, isn't he? Because he started.
Oh no, he's basically dumping XRP on the market on a daily basis, isn't he?
Right. I haven't actually done much research on that, but I will have to do a lot more on it to find out.
Yeah, he dumps, basically. He's obviously Ripple an XRP co-founder,
right,
and holds a substantial amount of money. And if he keeps dumping at the rate he's dumping, he'll be all dumped out in 2 years' time.
Yeah, I'm sure he has other plans in place outside of dumping and living off of that. I'm sure he has other ways to make money.
XLM is probably plan B, right?
Right, exactly. And that's another. Would you consider that in the same ballpark as XRP, or not necessarily?
I've covered it as a base, but do I seriously consider it? No.
Yeah, it's a just in case kind of play.
Just in case. And literally, for me, it's like a 10,000 base cover. That's all I'm at.
Right. That's fair. Okay, so with that in mind, I think we were transitioning over to okay, so we've touched on the direction in which you feel that this whole space is going, our economy is going, and we've touched very lightly on the geopolitical aspects as well. I initially, in my reaching out, I wanted to find out your thoughts on how to navigate like mental barriers when it comes to items like imposter syndrome or sudden wealth syndrome, or just overall, how does the average Joe who is coming along and identifying, or opening their eyes to this space outside of what they've been told over the past few years, or their entire lifetime in some cases?
And by the way, can I say, before I answer this question, you can tell me, but I've not heard these questions before coming online, have I? Yeah.
No, you haven't. No, we haven't chatted on this ever.
So this is going to be a little bit of a plug for what I'm doing afterwards, right?
I was going to say, before I was going to reach on that Wealth Kode. That's exactly where we're going. And let me help you introduce that, so it's not seeming like you're self how do I say this?
And I wasn't intending to do that, but the people who I'm involved with on that project would be absolutely hammering me at the moment
if you didn't. Absolutely. And okay, let me just say this. So yeah, touching on that, I just drawing from your experiences and what you're currently working on as well. I understand on your Twitter and also on your latest video on SPQR, you mentioned that you're working on a new project, and it's called Wealth Kode. Could you please tell us a little bit about how you started and how you transitioned to that project?
Well, basically, obviously, I told you about our journey with SPQR was about honesty, integrity, and about informing and educating. But then I realized that, hang on, well, people, if there is a sudden wealth syndrome scenario that rolls itself out over the forthcoming years, what are people going to do with that? Because we hear about lottery winners shooting their load within a 12 to 18-month period and becoming bankrupt.
Exactly.
So for me personally, I didn't want to leave people loose. So for me, I wanted to pivot so I could start teaching people about money, diversification and education within the financial field so they can look after their wealth and also create wealth. And that's kind of what Wealth Kode is all about.
That's brilliant.
It's about education and a nice, honest place to come for educational material.
Absolutely.
We're not financial advisors, but what we want people to become, we don't want people to become, we want people to come today people rather than, I'll do it in a minute, I'll do it tomorrow kind of people.
Yeah. Taking initiative.
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing is, don't sit there waiting for whatever cryptocurrency of your choice to move to get your financial freedom. Start acting on it now. I want to start teaching people about net worth. Absolutely. What is an asset and what isn't. And showing people that let's start making that green graph increase and the red graph decrease. Right. And that's kind of where I'm kind of going with it. And it's going to be powerful.
I think so too.
and not anybody knows this yet. So I'm going to give you a little snippet, but it's going to be done with professional film crews and producers and directors.
You gave us a teaser with that last video. I'll tell you that much.
That was a slight transition, but if you think movie kind of quality, that's what you're going to get when we relaunch.
That's excellent. And that actually gives a little bit of kind of viewership legitimacy to your project as well, outside of the organic approach that you've been utilizing for the past few years. Yeah,
of course. And what we want to join the cryptocurrency markets and the traditional markets.
Right.
So what we want to do, we want to work with the traditional people within the traditional markets as well as the cryptocurrency markets.
Right.
Where this is a business, and I've got to be honest with you, because of the cost of producing the quality of content that we're looking to produce, it is going to cost money.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything less from you.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, what a lot of people don't know about me, but I am a businessman. And what enables me to do all the SPQR content for free is because I'm a relatively successful businessman, right?
That's good to hear.
So what I'm now going to show everybody else is you're going to see a little bit of a business Lee, as well as the same honesty and integrity that I've always shown.
It's just a healthy merge. I believe that's actually something that could propel your business further if you think about it. So
hopefully.
And all the best on that. That's an excellent. Thanks so much for sharing that. And from my perspective, I'll give you a little bit of a snippet. I'm just about touching 30 now. And just
you're a baby. You're a baby compared to me.
I was going to say my entire approach to life was go to school, do well, get a degree, get a job, retire. That was where it started until I hit 18 and decided to take a year off after high school. I took a year off after high school to quote unquote find myself. That's what I told everybody. But honestly speaking, I was essentially just upgrading my courses because I flunked a lot of courses. I could care less now. But I managed to get into university, and I realized that economics was probably the better play because I wanted to at least do something with something in business. And I felt at that time that I had a chance to get into university, that was a good in. And that helped me. Like, it helped me understand how the world worked, because honestly speaking, when it's mentioned that business makes the world go round or money makes the world go round, it's not a lie. It's actually truth. And I'd much better find myself in a position where I have options rather than I don't. So when you mention that beyond people's knowledge, you are a businessman or a business person, and you that's how you make your living, I find that inspiring from my perspective, because then I know that my current mentality is going in the right direction, as
Of
opposed
course.
to like I met like the hole punching or like paper pushing or button pushing that the regular day 9 to 5 would offer. It's actually more fulfilling. That's the word actually I was looking for. It's
Of course.
fulfilling
Yeah, no,
to do that.
yeah, I totally get that. And
Right.
from my point of view, it's about changing people's mindset about money.
Right.
Because if you work for money, it never comes to you.
That's true.
But if you flip it round the other side and you get money to work for you,
right,
then it starts to come to you like a magnet. So it's about getting that balance right. And I was chasing money for years, and it never come to me as hard as I worked. Because what you taught by your parents and when you're growing up in at school, work hard, get a job.
right.
That's the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's unfortunately.
It's the wrong thing. If you
Yeah.
think about it, it's the wrong thing. So, like, if you've got people working for you, and you've got a business where
Right.
you don't have to be into it, I don't like just so I don't have to go into work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Right.
and I'm still earning my salary.
Right.
Money's working for me all of a sudden, right?
Right. As long as you're offering value, right?
As always.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you've got to be. Everybody talks about USP and business plans and stuff like that, and I say bullshit.
Okay.
I just say be honest, be hardworking, and just try and be as proactive as possible. But a business plan is probably worth as much as it's written on.
Right, that actually is true. But I mean, I'll beg to differ, because at the end of the day, like I mentioned, if you don't plan, I mean, relatively, you should be flexible with it, with the whole process.
100%.
Or
It should be a
approach to
month
business
to
planning.
quarter business plan,
Exactly.
rather than a
5-year. Yeah, exactly. You should have business plans within business plans to make that successful, if anything.
See, I've pitched to investors before, and they've said, like, what will your business be worth in 5 years? And I'm like, I ain't got a fucking clue.
No one knows. Yeah, you can't predict that stuff. Yeah.
If I give you numbers, basically, I'm guessing, so I'm lying to you.
Yeah.
And that's not the best foot to get on.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
That's respectable. That's really respectable. Lee, I really appreciate this, but I'd like to end it off with one question, if that's okay with you.
Of course.
Because I feel like anything, we probably didn't stress on it as much. How would you navigate overcoming ridicule in a space where no one would necessarily want to pay you any mind? For instance, for the one individual that will come across this video or any of the videos that you have put out and would like to share that information with their family or friends and doesn't know how to necessarily approach it, how would you, or let's actually go with how you did that, if that's been successful, if that's been essentially, have you been thrust into solitude because everyone rejected you, or are you, how did you do that?
I'm going to tell you a story, yeah, and this will make you laugh. So, for instance, I've got an electrical contracting company, and one of the guys I work with comes up to me, and he says, mate, are you doing a YouTube channel? And I'm not.
He found you.
He found me, and I was like, shit, he's found me. And he was down the pub talking about XRP, and funnily enough, he'd invested in XRP himself, and he was talking about XRP down the pub with some other people. And they were like, oh, yeah, there's this guy Lee who does SPQR around him, blah, blah, etc., yeah.
That's excellent.
And yeah, and he went, his name ain't Lee blah blah, is it? And he went, yeah, I think it is. And then he rang me up and he started laughing down the phone to me and proper ridiculed me. I basically said, yeah, it is me, but I'm not embarrassed by it. It was funny at the time, but literally, it's like water off a duck's back. Do you know the saying they teach you when you're a kid? Sticks and stones may break their bones, but words cannot hurt me.
Right.
Literally, I won't swear, but I don't give a lot.
That's excellent. So it's essentially you have come to a certain stage or a point in that you have a high level of self-awareness. That's probably safe
Of
to say.
course, yeah. And the thing is, like everybody growing up, we get grown up in societies where we feel like we've got to be liked by everybody.
Right.
We say what everybody else thinks, and we agree with people.
Right.
We do things that we wouldn't necessarily do to be liked.
Right.
And I had enough of that within my teenage years. And as I was growing up, I realised that I needed to change and just be me. And
Right.
if people didn't like me for being me, then they shouldn't really be my friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that.
So, and that's pretty much where I'm at in my life at the moment. And I advise a lot of people to go there because you have that realization of fulfillment within yourself.
Right.
And yes, you do have a lot less friends.
Right. I was going to say that shouldn't be confused with being antisocial, because technically and obviously you are a social person. We're talking for the first time, and you obviously want to have dialogue with someone who is relatively, I'll be honest, I'm not as well versed as you are when it comes to this research thing, but I'm getting there. But it is something that requires a lot of tunnel vision with regards to people's opinions of you. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, of course. And it comes to that thing. What does someone's opinion really mean to you?
Right.
Well, to be honest with you, it's just the people who are close to you really more than anything else. And then like, I'd rather have 5 friends who are really good friends who would jump through brick walls for you.
Right.
Than 100 friends who really don't give a shit about you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, Lee, thank you so much. I just wanted to get a take from you. Well, actually, I was asked to ask you this question. What are your thoughts on the recent YouTube sensation who's been mentioning something about gold-backed XRP?
Oh, don't start me on that.